Amazing conference, none other than
to attend this 6th Africa International Conference on Islamic Finance 2023. I wish to congratulate the organizers for maintaining this event, the first of which started when I was governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and is now witnessing its 6th chapter, and I also wish to thank them for inviting me to speak. The theme of this conference is towards a just transition. The International Labour Organization has defined just transition as greening the economy in a way that is as fair and inclusive as possible to everyone concerned, creating decent work opportunities and leaving no one behind. The Just Transition framework aims at integrating social and climate justice, and as a concept has a special relevance to Africa and to Islamic finance. Since the Industrial Revolution, fossil fuels have powered extraordinary growth and development, albeit with huge costs to our climate. As a direct result, we are today in a climate emergency. To avert catastrophe, there is the growing concern to radically switch to a sustainable net zero future. This transition needs to happen fast, but it also has to happen in a fair and inclusive way. If done right, the transition offers immense opportunities, a system change in which all communities, workers, and countries are lifted up. But what about under-industrialized and underpowered Africa, that is only at the receiving end of environmental and climatic disasters, with limited contribution of environmental and climatic pollution? How will the framework achieve integrating social and economic progress with climate justice? How will the move towards a greener economy impact African social and economic conditions? Are there answers in Islamic finance initiatives, especially as they relate to investment practices and the move towards convergence of Islamic finance and impact financing? How do the higher intents of the Sharia shape Islamic finance, especially in the investment culture towards achieving sustainable development goals, as well as the transition to a greener economy? I would like to share some of my thoughts as a member of the National Advisory Board of Impact Investing Nigeria, a subset of Impact Investing Foundation. The history of investment practice has recorded many milestones. The Global Impact Investing Network Roadmap for the Future of Impact Investing beautifully captures these milestones as they develop towards impact investing. From the 1550s, when the first jointly owned company was established to deploy capital from multiple investors, to the 1760s, when the Industrial Revolution began to fuel financial savings and investment, which was accompanied during the same period by the development of modern banking systems, to the 1950s, during which efforts were made to harmonize accounting standards in response to growing economic integration, to the 1960s, which saw the introduction of the concept of an optimal portfolio that manages risk and return, to the 1970s that saw the taking hold of the doctrine of maximizing shareholder value, to the 1990s widespread adoption of international accounting standards, and to now what is forecasted to be the next milestone by the 2030s, which is a dominant investment theory integrating impact alongside risk and return. The global economic system has generated unprecedented cumulative wealth and prosperity, and pulled hundreds of millions out of poverty. But existential threats to climate change with its attendant increased frequency of natural disasters, rapid depletion of natural resources, rising inequality, mass migration, disillusionment leading to extremism, and equal distribution of the benefits of the global system between countries and between subnational groups, creating perils of international security, all threaten to undo the remarkable gains. The global financial system has made most investment activity to occur in secondary markets, which currently comprise a large share of speculative transactions that enrich investors without supporting new investments in businesses in the real economy. Both investors and managers emphasize maximizing returns, giving priority to short-term profits with no market incentives that focus on long-term creation of value. Despite this trend, a growing number of investors are making investments with the central purpose of generating positive impact for people and the planet alongside financial returns. This practice is known as impact investing, and impact investing assets under management are increasing at an estimated 18% per annum among currently active impact investors, according to the GIIN roadmap. Impact investing is defined by the Global Sustainable Investment Alliance as targeted investments typically made in private markets aimed at solving social and environmental problems. Community investing, whereby capital is specifically directed to traditionally underserved individuals or communities, is included in this category, as is finance that is provided to businesses with an explicit social or environmental purpose. According to the GSIA Global Sustainable Investment Review of 2016, impact investment was estimated to be $248 billion in assets, up from $101 billion in 2014, and it is the fastest growing part of responsible finance in this period, expanding by 56.6% on an annualized basis. This represented a small portion, only 1.1%, of the global sustainable investment universe out of the $22.89 trillion responsible investment. Achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals targeting poverty, hunger, health, education, climate change, gender inequality, water, sanitation, energy, the environment, and social justice offers solutions to the most critical social and environmental challenges facing the world today. Resources available from government and philanthropy are insufficient. Private capital is essential. It is not only complementary, it is integral. Impact investors have become energized at the prospects of achieving these goals. It is highly pleasing to see one's wealth making an impact. Many impact investors have begun to align their portfolios to the SDGs, and other investors use the SDGs as a means to identify and develop impact investing strategies. In a GIIN survey, 42% of impact investors reporting using the SDGs as a tool or indicator set in their impact measurement and management. Impact investment is not without returns or good financial performance. Only 9% of the impact investors surveyed by the GIIN said their financial returns were underperforming expectations, which shows that over 90% are satisfied that their financial returns are performing to their expectation. Convergence between Islamic finance and socially responsible investing, including impact investing, is growing. The abhorrence of speculative transactions that only enrich investors without connection to the real economy is common to both. Also, the real impact bonds, Green Sukuk and SRI Sukuk issued by Malaysia, and the value-based intermediation strategy of the Bank Negara Malaysia that focus on creating an optimum allocation of resources to productive economic activities by using impact-based assessments considering the environment, society, and the economy are all initiatives that further illustrate this convergence. The two immunization sukuks issued by the International Finance Facility for Immunization that raised $700 million from both traditional sukuk investors and conventional investors, including those with a socially responsible investment focus, also prove that the convergence of Islamic finance and conventional sustainable investment is very possible. A factor that will further facilitate and fasten this convergence is ensuring the fulfillment of the fundamental objectives of the Sharia, the maqasid al-Sharia, in Islamic finance practice, and giving those objectives their due consideration, especially by Sharia boards of financial institutions in screening and certification. The negative or exclusionary screening done by the Sharia boards that excludes certain sectors, companies, or practices from funds or portfolio, though not based on specific ESG criteria as in the SRI, could be broadened based on maqasid al-Sharia to include positive and impact-creating screening. These objectives include protecting and sustaining faith, life, intellect, progeny, and wealth, pursuance of social justice, facilitating social mobility, attainment of benefit with its categorization into recognized benefits, classified into necessities, needs, and embellishments, daruriyat, hajiyat, and tahsiniyat, de-recognized benefits, like the benefits accruing from usury and speculative transactions, and benefits recognized from extra revelatory sources, al-masalih al-mursala, removal of harm, gradation of benefit that could be attained to give prominence to the most beneficial over the less beneficial, and the common good over the private good, gradation of harm that is to be eradicated so as to tolerate a lesser harm instead of a more harmful one. All these are objectives known to scholars of usul al-fiqh that will lead to the achievement of the required impact of finance for the benefit of the people and planet. One area close to my heart is increased focus on educating the girl child and greater economic empowerment of women. The growing convergence will certainly increase the universe of both Islamic finance and conventional impact finance assets, as well as deploy more financial resources towards achieving the SDGs. It also shows the universal value proposition of Islamic finance and its ability to light the way for conventional finance, working in tandem with wider initiatives like achieving the UN SDGs and integrating ESG values to further the aims of a more equitable, sustainable, and inclusive financial system. It is worth noting that the second edition of the Global Report Islamic Finance, jointly launched by the Islamic Development Bank Group and World Bank Group in Tunis in April 2018, presented global perspectives on the need for long-term investments in the SDGs and proposed the use of Islamic finance, which is based on risk sharing rather than risk transfer, towards overcoming the challenge of underfunding. The concept of risk sharing places emphasis on value creation and economic viability of investments that create new wealth. Islamic social finance, with its components of zakat, waqf, benevolent loans, and Islamic microfinance, is another initiative that is poised to achieve the SDGs and further illustrates the convergence between Islamic finance and impact finance. A study by the Islamic Research and Training Institute has shown how Islamic microfinance helps achieve 7 out of the 17 SDGs. These 7 are SDG 1, ending poverty in all its forms everywhere; SDG 2, ending hunger, achieving food security and improved nutrition, and promoting sustainable agriculture; SDG 3, good health and well-being; SDG 5, gender equality; SDG 8, promoting sustained, inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment and decent work for all; and SDG 16, peace, justice and strong institutions. A number of non-interest banks in Nigeria have established a Qard Hasan Fund, a kind of cash-work fund to finance micro businesses and startups through micro murabaha with a single-digit rate of return to the financial institution. Zakat and Waqf play a vital role in social protection and alleviating poverty in a dignified manner, and have led to a wider social and financial inclusion. These instruments can also leverage and catalyze other sources and channel these sources to sustainable and stable development projects. The interconnectedness between the economic and social goals of sustainable development shows the imperatives of an integrated approach to developmental issues. In realizing the connection between poverty and vulnerability, with lack of access to education and growing gender disparity and domestic violence, in 2017, we instituted societal reforms in Kano that targeted 3 areas: reforms in the marital institution, access to education, especially of the girl child, and economic empowerment through reforms and resuscitation of the institutions of Zakat and Waqf. The development of fintech, which has been defined as technology-enabled products and services that improve traditional financial services to both conventional and Islamic finance, has the potential to integrate impact financing into both intermediation systems. Crowdfunding is a fintech initiative that gives the developing world the potential to leapfrog the developed world, according to a World Bank publication on crowdfunding's potential for development work. It facilitates the provision of capital to entrepreneurs and substantial reservoirs of talent and activity that traditional and financial institutions have been averse to extend financing for. In Nigeria, the initiative to create the Biometric Verification Number (BVN) for all bank customers, which was introduced when I was central bank governor, and the deployment of mobile banking and creation of a cashless economy, coupled with the use of GPS coordinates in identifying real and active farmers, all of which we regarded as fintech initiatives, positively impacted financial inclusion, and their use has helped achieve grassroots impact of financial interventions, like the government anchor borrower agricultural lending scheme and the Babangona Private Investment Initiative, both of which have empowered a large number of rural farmers, with the first targeting 1 million farmers and the second targeting 500,000. The economic empowerment of these farmers has had a multiplier effect on ending hunger, alleviating poverty, achieving better health and education opportunities among farmers, their wives, children, and the rural communities. In conclusion, integrating the achievement of the SDGs into Islamic finance practice and impact investment monitoring and measurement strategies will not only lead to a growing convergence of all sustainable, responsible impact investing, including Islamic finance, with its attendant advantages of availing much-needed resources to address the most critical social and environmental challenges, and complement the insufficient resources of governments and philanthropy, but to also help realize the true intent of the Sharia for Islamic financial transactions. This integration will fit into the framework of a just transition to a net zero future. It is also critical for financial institutions that have taken the lessons of the global financial crisis that finance is to be in the service of society and the economy, and most importantly, the environment, and not the other way round, to be concerned about their long-term societal roles in their operations. This long-term perspective on business sustainability requires leaders to look strategically at what are ultimate objectives of each financial institution, for example, in relation to the Sustainable Development Goals and achieving a net zero future. With emerging markets holding the biggest growth opportunity in the coming decades, as just 4 to 7% of impact invested funds are in developed markets, and with significant investment needs to achieve the SDGs, there will be a need to make new opportunities investable and impactful. Collaborations such as this summit, which highlight opportunities in Islamic finance, including Islamic social finance instruments, are important to address challenges from limited investable opportunities which is one of the most cited challenges for growth in the impact investments across emerging markets, the limited investable opportunities despite large defined investment needs. Forward-thinking leaders look at what the expectations of all their stakeholders are and use them to design their organization's values explicitly with a conscious theory of change that connects their actions to ultimate impact on society and the environment. Any good leader making serious efforts to develop an institution's values has to factor in not only his or her actions, but how the broader society supports or resists the actions necessary for the theory of change to be effective. How does the financial institution separate what parts of society it can influence, what parts it cannot, and what parts would be inappropriate, even if they could be justified with a financial return? These are the questions that I hope this summit will answer. So that's the end of my speech. I would like to congratulate Mariam Lemu for not having put her foot in her mouth for the first time in many years. I mean, this is somebody who is on the phone and is told to greet the Emir, and she says, Alhaji Inapana. I mean, I've never seen anyone as totally lost and incapable of choosing her words. So she's avoided calling my name, avoided talking about me, and therefore, because she's avoided getting into trouble. Thank you very much. Again, apologies for not being able to stay. I have other commitments, and I wish you successful deliberations.
Please put your hands again for the